You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. So welcome back to episode 67 of the Primal Armor Podcast. Today we're going to be interviewing Mike Reed, the owner of Micro Gainz. You guys have probably been seeing me post a little bit about Micro Gainz in the last handful of weeks, but I just want to let Mike give himself a short introduction.
Hey, thanks for having me. Like you said, I'm Mike Reed, the owner of Micro Gainz. We make USA-made weightlifting equipment for barbells, dumbbells, and weight machines. We started quite a few years ago, 2016. I started Micro Gainz and did it on the side for a couple of years until we kind of built it up to a bigger company. And most people probably know us right now for our fractional plates. That's kind of like the Micro and Micro Gainz. And our big niche at the time was coming up with products that were smaller weight plates. So when you go to a gym, the smallest plate you usually find is a 2.5 pound plate. We sell smaller than that. So we sell 1/4 pound, 1/2 pound, 3/4 pound, 1 pound, and 1.25 pound plates. And that's how we got started, basically on the principle of progressive overload, adding a little bit of weight every time you lift. Not that we don't advocate adding as much weight as you can, go up by 45, go up by 25, go up by 10s as long as you can. But eventually, you're going to plateau, and maybe the use of fractional plates is a good way to get over that plateau. Instead of going up by 5, maybe you only go up by 2.5 or 2 or 3 pounds or something like that. That's kind of what the premise of our company is right now.
Yeah, I really love what you guys are doing. I mean, I didn't have a set for myself at the time before I met you. I had him from a different company, but we've definitely been in the works about trying to get something custom for Primal Armor made done, and I can't wait to finally get some of your product in my own gym for myself.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Like you mentioned, we can actually, we do a little custom work now. We have a laser that we can etch on logos and different things, so that'll be cool. I'm excited to see how they turn out.
Before we get into any of the questions that I have for you, I just want to know, like you said yes to being a guest on our podcast for a reason. So I just kind of want to know what you want to get out of this podcast before we're done, because that's just what I want to make sure it gets done for you. Like, is it to get some content to post for yourself? Is it kind of get some of my followers to be some of your customers? Or is it just kind of like to create a mutual contact between each other? Like, I just want to know what you're getting, like, want to get out of this.
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think on our end, of course, getting more out there into the weightlifting space, talking about the company, letting people know that it's it started as a single guy in his shed in his backyard, hand painting weight plates. And now it's kind of grown up to something bigger, and just getting, I guess, some more exposure for us, letting your listeners know what we offer, letting people know, we have USA made stuff. We stick by our guns with that, and that we're here to help people out, help people break plateaus, build strength, and do it in a nice cost effective way, and from high quality parts and equipment.
Yeah, I love that you started as just like a one-man band out back and painting some plates for yourself. And yeah, to kind of get more on that, I just want to get a little bit more of your background. So what kind of training do you typically do?
So like you mentioned, one of the reasons I came with Micro Gainz is I was working on a linear progression model of training. So I would do squat, what I do now too is squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, and doing 3 sets of 5. I actually started earlier than that doing a strong lifts version, 5 sets of 5 of squats, bench, deadlift, press, and then going up by 5 pounds each time you would lift. So you started at 135 pounds on the squat. Next time you do 140, then 145, et cetera, et cetera. Went to a more of a starting strength style 3x5 after 5 sets of 5 is a lot of volume over time. So went to a 3x5 and just ran into the plateau problems on bench and overhead press. Going up by 5 pounds on overhead press over time is very challenging. That's why you don't see guys overhead pressing 500 pounds, like people can do on the bench. Very tough to go up by 5 pounds. And I'm like, hey, I should just gotta be smaller plates out there than just, 2.5 on each side for that 5 pound jump. I'll go look around. And this was in 2016. And I looked around and saw they had, some plates on Amazon, and I thought the quality wasn't great. I thought it was kind of expensive, and I thought, you know what, I can probably make these myself. And went to a local laser cutter and had 25 of each size cut originally out of steel, and that was 25 quarters, halves, 3/4, and 1 pound plates. Took those into my shed, like I mentioned before. I screwed a piece of plywood in the back of my shed and put a bunch of nails in, hung them up, and hand painted them with spray paint, like a high velocity, low pressure gun. Painted them, brought them inside, stickered them with the little Micro Gainz logo after we came up with the idea for the brand, put a sticker on them, and then started selling on eBay in February of 2017. And honestly, I did it, for myself so I could have a few plates. And I thought, I have extra, so I'm going to try to sell a couple. And then it just kind of escalated from there. Like, I definitely didn't start Micro Gainz with the intention of, it being my only job. I have a retail management background. I've worked in retail, grocery retail. I worked for Walmart and some other companies for 15 years. So that's what I've done my whole life. Figured I'd just kind of move up the corporate ladder and, got Micro Gainz going. And it just seemed like it was something that was going to get bigger over time. The first month in 2017, I think we sold 2 sets, so it's humble beginnings for sure. And, obviously it's progressed a lot since then. So as you see the progress, you start to put a little more time in it and stuff. So I think that answers your question sort of in a roundabout way. It gives you a little of my background and then some of my current training.
Yeah, I can definitely see why you wanted to make a set for yourself, because you were seeing those plateaus and you really wanted to bust through those. But I just want to know what's going through your head when you're like, oh, I'm going to order 25 sets of these and wanting to sell them. Is that, did you want to start your own business, or you're like, we're just going to see how it goes?
It was probably a little bit of both. Definitely, I thought when I looked at the prices and what was available around the internet, there just wasn't that much. A lot of big companies maybe make fractional plates, but they're expensive, or it's just a low level priority product. All the competitors on Amazon, like I mentioned, they're all overseas made companies, brands you've never heard of, just random brand companies making, there's a company that makes weight plates, and they also make luggage and pencils and things. That's who you want your weightlifting equipment from, right? A company that makes luggage. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, I might be able to not only compete with these guys on price, but definitely on quality. So I actually went through back in 2016, made a list of all these competitors I could find on Excel, wrote down how much they were charging, what their plates are made out of, what material, looked at their reviews, saw what customers were kind of complaining about, oh, this plate the coating was chipping, or the weight wasn't that great on these, or there wasn't a bag with it. So I started to assemble okay, how can I make ours kind of check the box on all of the problems of the other plates and then be cost effective. And when I got 25, it was actually 25 plates of each, so it was only 8 sets. Actually, because we sell them in sets of 8, 2 quarters, 2 halves, 2 3/4, and 2 1-pounders. And when I sold through those on eBay, I think I started on eBay for the first couple months, then I went to Amazon in June or July. I didn't even start a website until 2018. Little pro tip, you don't need to start a website, start a business. You can just start selling right away. And I think the important part was I just started doing it, and then it's the traction that you see, right? So if we sold 2 sets the first month, 4 sets the next month, 5 sets the next month, and then I think, when you dropped onto Amazon, maybe we're selling a set every other day, maybe 15 sets a month, and then that's kind of where you started to see the upward trajectory of well, I'm going to reorder more and try it. And then instead of painting in my backyard in my shed, I found a better way to do it. We found a way to powder coat them through a manufacturer. Powder coating seemed like it was going to be too expensive when I first looked at options. And then I found a company that was doing it for a pretty good deal in Pennsylvania and started having the plates done there. And then I ordered 100 of each size. And then we started including the 1.25 pound plate. And I think that's whenever I realized okay, I can make some money on this and charge a respectable amount. And I think we can be competitive. And that's when it sort of started to turn into a business more from just a hobby. Now, once again, I did this on the side. So I was working full time at my retail job, 50 hours a week. And I used all the profit for Micro Gainz I just put back into Micro Gainz for the first 4 years until 2020 when I quit. I didn't take a dollar out of the company until I quit and started to do it full time back in 2020.
That's awesome, especially from starting just in your back shed. I know you're saying that everything's 100% US made. I kind of want to know where you guys are at now. You're definitely out of that back shed working, and you're saying that you're going with a local powder coater, a local companies, and just what are you guys looking at now? Do you have a warehouse, or how do things look for your company?
Yeah, so now since I quit in 2020 to do this full time, we had a couple of part-timers working for me. They've kind of intermixed in and out. Now I actually have 2 full-time guys working for me. We have a place where we do all of our manufacturing and distribution. It's a warehouse. We rent some space from a warehouse with a dock so we can ship and receive pallets of products. And I do in my office here, where you can see it's actually in my house, where we actually ship all of our orders from my office in my garage. We built like an office actually inside of our garage, my garage. And so we have sort of a 2-part system. My 2 guys start every day. They go over and start working on production, and I ship the orders usually in the morning from the website and stuff, and then go over and meet them in the afternoon. And I spend like a 50-50 day. We have a lot more products than those original fractional plates. We still do make everything in the U.S. We've found different manufacturers over time, but my fractional plates right now are made 10 minutes from my house in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. The dumbbell plates are also made here. That's another product I haven't talked about yet, but it's one of probably our most popular product right now, which is like a plate that can clamp onto the handle of a dumbbell to make you go up in incremental weight. So instead of going up by those 5-pound jumps, 35, 40, 45, 50, you can go up to a 42.5-pound dumbbell or a 41-pound dumbbell. We found a way to kind of do that. So those are made locally. Like the spring inside that plate's made locally. The coating is done locally. All the boxes that we order are bought locally. So we very much support the not just made in the USA, but local businesses around here. Almost everything I make is made in Pennsylvania. Like the wood for our deadlift jack is cut down from Pennsylvania hardwood trees. Yeah, so we've definitely expanded a lot. I'm not even sure how many products we have now, 40, 50 different products compared to just like the original 5 micro plates. And it's just come from scaling it up and ordering more. And, whenever it used to be 25 of each plate, now we order 2,500 of each plate. And, that's how we keep the business rolling.
I just love that you keep it so local, like 10 minutes from your house.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive, because I know like where I live way out in the boonies where 10 minutes doesn't get you anything but standing corn.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, I saw that today you were posting that you got 2,000 pounds of those dumbbell plates.
Yeah, that's correct. Picked them up from my coder. So what's been happening, the demand's been super high on those. And I usually have a friend of mine that does hauling and trucking where he'll pick up stuff for me, but I've been needed to picking up quicker than I can get him to bring his trailer up. So I'll pick up as much as I can in my F-150. And today we picked up 2,000 plus pounds of dumbbell plates. Those are all 1.25 pound dumbbell plates. In the back seat, I put 1 pound dumbbell plates, and we have a new 2.5 pound dumbbell plate that's coming out. And I have a couple of boxes of those that I actually put in the back of my truck. So we have a pre-order for those going on right now. So we're finally getting into that. And that doesn't include all the stuff I left there because I couldn't pick it up. But we needed plates till we can continue to fill orders. We fill orders on it for our website. We're on Walmart.com, Amazon, eBay, and a little bit on Etsy. We also sell on Kabuki Strength, Garage Gym Outfitters, and a couple others. So Amazon does a lot of business for us. We send stuff for Amazon Prime. So when you see it there, Prime 2-day shipping, that comes from an Amazon warehouse that we shipped our products to, and then that gets to you in that 2-day window or whatever. So we're constantly packing up products to ship pallets to Amazon warehouses, as well as just fulfill orders from our website.
It sounds like you're going to need to upgrade to F350.
Yeah,
so I think you're going to start needing to market some Micro Gainz luggage and pencils.
Yeah, I think my previous truck, I had an F-150 as well that I put airbags in the back because I was taking so many shipments at the time. I would pick up shipments from the manufacturer that made the plates and drive them to my house because I didn't have a warehouse back in, when did we get the warehouse? 2021. So in 2020, we were doing piles of volume, COVID and things like that. And everything was in my garage, pallets of stuff. And I would have to hand offload them off the bed of my truck into my garage instead of like right now we forklift it off. Or just have, like an actual truck show up. But we had airbags in the back of my F-150 so I could increase the payload a little bit. I did look at an F-250, F-350 for a little bit, but thank God I was able to stave it off because they're pretty expensive.
I want to know what your wife was thinking when you're not making profit from Micro Gainz, you're putting it back into Micro Gainz, but your entire garage is just filled with pallets and pallets of your guys' products.
She's been very supportive throughout. She's an entrepreneur herself. She does a lot of different things. She has an Etsy shop. She's a seamstress. She sews. She makes things, sells bags, blankets. Hats, you name it. She can make it. So she's always had an entrepreneurial bug. I didn't actually, honestly. I kind of wanted, like I mentioned, you follow that corporate structure of like, becoming the manager and the district manager and the regional manager and blah, blah, blah. And I think when I saw like retail is a lot of like working weekends and holidays and long hours, and I'm like, I gotta do something else. Like this is just a drain, and maybe I can work for myself. And yeah, there was tons of like sleepless nights and arguments over like when should I quit and do this full time? Because at the time I'm working 7 to 5 and waking up early in the morning at 5 so I can print off orders, go to work, come home, eat dinner, put the kids to bed, work from 9 to midnight on Micro Gainz, and like it became that really heavy. Not in the beginning, but as sales went up and up, and we had to make that decision. It was actually kind of nice then to make the decision to come and work for it full time. Now I can work whatever I want, which is still typically 50 hours a week anyway. But at least I have some control and am able to work at my own pace and kind of do whatever I want to do within the company, make time for this podcast or make time to go to lunch or see my kids or take the weekends off or have the holidays and things like that. That's been really nice. And she's been very supportive of that. There's definitely been some stressful times, no question, as there is with everybody when you take this kind of risk. But I think it has paid off.
But I think my favorite part of your story is how you used to work at Walmart, but now you're selling your own product to Walmart stores.
Yeah,
I think that's just awesome.
Yeah, we sell on the website now. We had the Walmart.com website. We had a spot a year ago. They were doing like this contest where you could. They were looking for U.S. manufacturers, I'm sure, because they were struggling probably getting stuff for their stores. And we were selected to do a presentation to a Walmart buyer for plates, and they were interested in the plates. They actually didn't end up going with it in the end, so we just sell on the website now. We didn't actually get into the stores, unfortunately. Things always change with Walmart. It's a very fast-moving place. It was cool to have the opportunity, cool to get in front of a buyer and actually chat about it, and hopefully that leaves the door open for the future.
Right, I think that's so cool, especially just because how much you guys are expanding in so little time. In just a few years, you went from just having micro plates to now you're having those orders where you can't even pick up enough dumbbell plates in your own truck because you're selling them that quick.
Yeah, I think it's hard to believe sometimes. We just kind of we've just kind of grown with it, so sometimes we don't think about it like from where it was to where it is now, and the fact that it's micro plates. Like most people wouldn't think you could make a business out of that, and I saw the niche and thought, yeah, you could probably make a business out of that. And we sell things that aren't micro plates too, but that's how we started. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of niches out there that you can make businesses out of, and not. I think that people often think that making a business you have to be like a millionaire or be like a billionaire, right? Like when you're going to start these businesses, mm-hmm. It's not really about that. It's about doing something you like to do, and maybe it's the same salary you had at your job, but you're infinitely happier because you're doing your own thing. It doesn't have to be a massive amount of money that you're making. Happiness is far more important than what you're building for a business, and then just for you to be like unhappy and like I don't want to be here anymore and stuff like that. It's nice to have that freedom to work for yourself.
Right, and even if you are making less money, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, and just having that flexible schedule is huge.
Absolutely.
I just want to know if there's any other ideas that are coming down the pipeline. Like I know you guys have upgraded to the snap-on dumbbell plates. Like you don't have to give any specifics or anything, but I just wonder how often you guys are doing some like innovation and prototype stuff in the background still.
All the time, actually. I come up with ideas all the time. I have a board at our place where we do the distribution of items that I'm interested in making. And every time I think of something, I'll write it on the board. And then we'll talk about the feasibility. And we just talked about this today, actually, about we're selling these little like wooden weight plate trees that you can hang microplates on. It's just a microplate tree. We've sold a couple of them. I mean, not every item we make is going to be a home run, so to speak. Not everything's going to be high volume. But I like to make it. Like we sell these really nice loadable dumbbell handles that are made in the USA. Not many companies are doing that. They're a nice solid steel knurled handle. We do a really cool thing where we have our micro plates, or actually the plate stops on it, and they're laser etched in black. Looks really cool. Not a high volume item for us, but we do have people that like them and buy them. They're a little shorter. They're 14.5 inches. Some people like the smaller set instead of the super long 20-inch versions. But we like to still do those items because I can see a niche in that area. Like for instance, the deadlift jack, the jack stand we make is made out of wood, and you are able to use this deadlift jack, pick up one side of the bar, move your plates on and off real easy. It's made out of a solid piece of hardwood, and we've been selling that since 2018. And I think sales have actually gone down on that because more and more competitors showed up in the market. And there's like, we had the only wooden jack, and now there's like 3-4 people making wooden jacks. And like, as time goes on, like the market gets more filled with more products, and then it gets tougher to compete. Right. And even like, I think that makes it so you have to keep innovating, right? Like you just mentioned, like, do you work on prototypes? I think about it all the time. Like, I think in 5 years, maybe we're not even making microplates anymore, right? We could be making something completely different. And that's important, because I don't think we need to always stick to our laurels and like double down on the microplates. And because if it's not working, it's not working. And I'm not going to force something that's not going to work. So I have my ear really close to the ground on what people want in weightlifting, and what can we do as a small manufacturer to make something happen. But yeah, I've got a bunch of ideas. One that I'm hoping to come out with early next year that I think is going to be cool, and we're working right now with the manufacturer on it, something different that we don't offer. So
Yeah, I love your prototype that I just saw, of how you guys upgraded your deadlift jack, and now you're able to kind of do like trap bars with it too.
Oh yeah. So we have our jacks do regular barbells. We have the only 2-inch jack stand, which will do rackable trap bars. So as a 2-inch opening, and then we have that prototype. We're going to come out with it though. I have some interest in it, which will do trap bars that aren't rackable. So like more of a basic trap bar, and it'll hook one side of the trap bar, and it's a double jack stand. They're 2 pieces together, and it'll also work on a regular bar. So it's twofold. You get the trap stand as well as the regular barbell jack. So you get like a 2-in-1 for that. And we worked quite a bit on that. I remember talking to Kaizen DIY. He had originally chatted with me about, like, is there a way that we could make something that could do a trap bar, because maybe there's some demand for that. So we worked on a product like that, and there's been products that we've worked on that didn't work out, or ones that maybe we tried for a little bit and moved on from. Right now we have these thick grip dumbbell handles, like a 2-inch grip aluminum dumbbell handle, and it's a really cool product. We actually take our micro plates, so it's a 2-inch solid bar of aluminum. We knurl the center. It's about 16 inches long, and we take our 2 half-pound fractional plates and shrink fit them to the bar as the plate stops, essentially. And really cool thing if you're into grip training. And I feel like we haven't promoted the product very well yet, and it's pretty low demand right now. But we'll kind of see as time goes on. Like, I don't mind having some low demand stuff. Like I said, everything doesn't have to sell 1,000 units a month.
So I just want you to tell my listeners of why they should be investing in microplates from Micro Gainz, and not just other ones like Rogue or Rep, or like you said, all these companies out there are making mimics of all the products out there. I just want to know why my listeners should be investing in the Micro Gainz.
We make the best USA made fractional plates. Most companies that you see don't make them in the US, Rogue included. And we make the best USA made ones for a lot of reasons. One, they're calibrated, which is not anymore in the cost of the things. In other words, they're plus or minus 5 grams of weight, which you can barely feel in your hand. So that's a very accurate plate. Obviously all made in the US, the weight's stamped in. We've got them in black and multicolor now, and they're a great way to break plateaus. And that's why we started the whole company. You should be checking out fractional plates if you're working out with a barbell. Eventually you're going to need them. It's not about your max lift. It's not about deadlifting 301 or benching 454. It's about sets and reps. If you're doing a bench press and you're only up to 225, and going up to 230 for 3 sets of 5 has been tough. Maybe you're getting 3 reps, 2 reps, 4 reps. You're not getting that 555. Maybe going up to 227 and a half is a better way than deloading, or changing up your reps, or something like that. Like, I get a lot of people that comment, like with the dumbbell plates, for instance, like if I'm going to go from a 20 to a 25, what about a 22 and a half? Our dumbbell plate can clamp on, make it 22 and a half. And a lot of people just say, well, just pick up the 25. Well, maybe that's not feasible depending on the exercise. Or, people will be like, well, hey, maybe I'll just rep out the 20 and why bother? And it's like, well, not everybody wants to rep out. Not everybody wants to do 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 reps. If that was the case, then no one would have plates. We would just rep out the bar, right? You just do it 400 times until you feel the burn, right? You wouldn't put 350 on the bar. And we just merely offer a way to get over. We're not saying it's the only way to break a plateau. We just merely offer products in one way, which is adding a little bit extra weight whenever you need it. The nice thing is we have, I would say, excellent customer service. We get back to you right away if you have any questions. We ship out our stuff super fast. You get it. We ship all of our orders next business day. So if you order today, we ship it tomorrow. We do, I think it's priority mail shipping for stuff like that. So you get it really quick. And we're here to answer your questions. We stand behind our fractional plates have a lifetime warranty. So if they ever, become unusable, let us know and we'll send you a new set. That's how much we stand behind the part. So I think just with the made in the USA, the high quality nature, and I think the price point is very fair for what you're actually getting. We're less money, we're less money than Rogue. But we might be more money than some of the made overseas brands that you see on Amazon. So, but we're a nice set to have and something you'll have for a lifetime.
And there's a potential for customization, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and I didn't mention that. And honestly, I feel like we don't dive into the customization as much as we should. We're pretty busy with orders, and customizing can be a little extra work. Obviously, you got to send some artwork, got to work on it, and get it. Send some proofs over, make sure everything looks good. But yeah, I want to unveil more of customization probably next year of fractional plates. Or the dumbbell plate. You want your gym's logo, you want your name on it, you want something else done. We've done some unique stuff with our deadlift jack. We made like a guitar style, kind of like it looks pretty cool because it kind of looks like a guitar. So we end up making it look like a Stratocaster. Pretty neat. We've done stuff for a company called Barbell Logic where we laser etch their name and their logo into the back of plates. So we've done a bunch of different stuff like that for customers. We just don't advertise it, I guess, yet. Because I'm slightly worried about like getting too many orders and like it just takes a lot of time to do it. But having that option to personalize it is pretty cool too.
I agree, and that's why I definitely want a pair for myself. So we're definitely going to be working on that very soon after this podcast.
Sounds good.
Where do you see Micro Gainz in like 5 years?
I hope that we're a bigger company than we are now. We are working on products that mean something to people, and we're making them like better and better. So our dumbbell plates are even better than they were. We're offering the sizes that people want. We're listening to our customers and what they want and trying to make those versions of the products. Maybe in 5 years we get picked up by a bigger company. Maybe not a Rogue Fitness, but maybe something like that. Which we can, I'm sure, complement a brand. We're not the one size fits all plate, like stop for your gym equipment, but maybe in 5 years we could be. By adding, I think we only sell the 10-pound plates right now, but maybe having more options in the future. And we would like to bring more of our manufacturing in-house because I think that's a good way to scale up your brand. Spending money to get things machined and manufactured is pretty expensive, and we do that for our dumbbell handles and different things. And bringing some of that stuff in-house might be a way to lower our costs and offer a better product to people. So hopefully in a couple years we get our own milling machine or a lathe or things like that we could do more in-house. And then, like you mentioned, expanding on that customization and making some of the brand more personal give that personal touch.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And I'm really excited to kind of see where you guys go in the next few years. Because I feel like in the last year or so that I've known you guys and seen you guys, I've seen you guys grow exponentially with being sponsors of different competitions and stuff. So I just can't wait to see where it's going to be in 5 years from now.
Yeah, we're happy to be a part of the community, and I like to give back as much as we can. We've been Garage Gym Competition. We've supported them. I don't even know how many plate sets we've given away over the years, to be honest, for giveaways or for competition winners or things like that, because we want to be a part of the community and be a good community member.
Man, I feel that, and I just feel like with how much the home gym community has given me since I've been here, and that's why we're doing that 12 Days of Liftmas giveaway. And I'm happy to be giving away a set of your guys' Micro Gainz plates because, like you said, all that stuff with being USA made and just everything that you do to keep everything so local. Like, I'm proud to be partnered with you guys for that giveaway and to give away a pair of those.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
A set of those.
Definitely appreciate that.
What advice would you give someone if they wanted to start a business just like you did?
What I always tell people is try to find a niche type product. You probably don't want to go head to head with like Amazon, right? And come up with the next Amazon or the next Uber or something like that. You want to find something that is a niche product. And if you're going to be in weightlifting, maybe it's something. Maybe you decide you want to make, 20 pound and 30 pound and 40 pound plates instead of going with the fives. I don't know, right? And you want to jump in and do some market research. Best thing to do is go to Amazon or Walmart.com or do a quick internet search, see if anybody else is selling anything like it. Check out pricing and do what I did. Make a list, see like how much is it? How many pieces are you getting? Where is it made? What's the cost of this thing? And then think, okay, this is probably feasible. Go get a prototype made. Find somebody local. There's going to be some type of local-ish manufacturer to almost anyone in the United States, at least, where you can maybe get something laser cut or something made on a lathe or something machined and get that piece and then start to test it yourself. When you find that it's working out, maybe make a couple copies, and they're going to be expensive in the beginning, but you have to invest a little bit. And after you get a few out, maybe you can sell a few. Start on eBay, start on Amazon, start selling there. You don't need a website. Definitely get on social media, start kind of talking about the product a little bit, get involved in a garage gym setting. There's so many garage gym people to follow. Get involved into the home gym Discord or the home gym on Reddit, and start to ask people, like, what do you think about this, or something like that. I don't even think you have to, like, people think like you got to like even patent a product or something like that. Like I think it's important just to get it out in the space and test it. And then maybe like we did that with our dumbbell plates, where we had our original version had like rubber bands around it, and it was steel laser cut. And we eventually made a better version with an internal spring that's a lot nicer. It's smaller, it's thinner, and we patented that version. So we have a U.S. patent for that. But the previous version, I was able to test the market and be like, yeah, people are going to be interested in this because we sold them for a few years, and we're going to make a version 2, which is even better, and we're going to attract those customers. And in fact, I think that the new dumbbell plate does 10 times more in sales than the old one did. So because we made it better, because we tested the market. Maybe you can send your stuff to a Garage Gym Experiment or Garage Gym Lab or Garage Gym Fanatics, and maybe get them to test it too, to give you a little more social proof. And then you can start to slowly scale up your business. But definitely look for some type of niche out there. Going after just making barbell plates probably isn't, the way to go, or a barbell, because there's just so much competition out there. You really have to differentiate yourself, and it costs a lot of money up front. But there's a lot of small products that maybe there's just not a big impact for it right now, that maybe you could come up with yourself and test it.
I like that. I just really hope that you get out of today's episode what you wanted out of this, and I really hope we get some good content out of this, because I know anytime that you post something to social media, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You're really killing it with your reels and TikToks.
Yeah.
They're just so funny. So if you guys haven't followed Micro Gainz on all the social media platforms, you got to do it.
Yeah, we do a lot of videos on there, try to stay up with the trends, put a Micro Gainz spin on it. And I think that does differentiate us from some of the other companies out there. You can go to our social media. We're not always trying to sell something either. That's important to me, because I'm not every day. You've seen all the social media Instagram sites where every single post is trying to sell you their product. Sometimes we're just having fun on a post. We're not often trying to sell you something. You can come check out the stuff. You can message me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll get back to you if you have questions. I'm usually pretty fast for that. Same with emails. Getting back to people, because I know that you have limited time, and we're here to try to help you out.
So are you running all your social media pages yourself?
Yeah, it's
good to know. It
can be daunting. I run the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, Twitter too. Geez, so sometimes we'll use the same piece of content and we'll post on Facebook, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. And depending on if it's more business related, it'll go to LinkedIn as well. So coming up with content can be daunting. It's a part of my day every day, of coming up with something new to post, or we'll do a lot of reposts for people that tag us and put those kind of posts out. Look for trends on TikTok and maybe make a video out of it. It's a process, that's for sure, but it's completely necessary. If you're not on social media, people don't know who you are. And it's the only way to get your name out there more, is honestly to post more often. And we've had a couple TikToks that have had a couple million views. We've had a couple TikToks that have had 100 views. Like, the point is, you have to consistently keep going back and keep posting, and make sure you comment back on everybody that comments. Anybody, you can go back 5 years on Instagram. I think I've posted over 2,000 times in 5 years, which is almost every day for 5 years. And you can look back on all the comments, and I think I've commented back on every single person, because that's what you have to do if you want to build your brand.
I just think that's so respectable, because on just like bigger companies, they hire someone else to do their social media, but you're over here doing prototypes, you're doing the orders yourself, you're doing your social media, you're going and picking up the product yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Like that's so respectable, and that's why I'm just proud to have you on the podcast, proud to be working with you on some things, and it's so awesome when you get to see someone like that who puts so much into their business. And what I wanted to get out of that question I was saying earlier is just, why should my listeners buy Micro Gainz? It's just because of all those things. You have a business owner that puts everything of their own worth into their business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the reason I get up every day. I got to say, I'm excited every Sunday night for Monday. And I know a lot of people that work can't say that, right? dreading Monday morning. And Monday morning is like my favorite day of the week, getting back into the grind and working on something that I really enjoy to do every day. Like there's ups and downs for sure. There's good and bad stuff that happens. But overall, it's a very rewarding career to have right now.
So before we end today's episode, do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. I've really appreciated you having me on. I actually just recently listened to your podcast on Garage Gym Experiment and with Jake. It was very enlightening. I think I got to know you quite a bit actually from that podcast, very specifically. So I can see kind of what you guys are doing at Primal Armor. Obviously, I see the meaning behind. I think is it Huntington syndrome? Is that the name?
Huntington's disease.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was actually until I listened to the podcast and had your explanation. And very sorry to hear how it's affected your family. And but it's a really cool thing that you're doing with the podcast, getting information out there, talking to people, getting with companies. Really cool stuff you're doing over there, and I'm happy to be on the podcast for sure. I'm happy you selected us to be on.
And I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm happy and I can't say thank you enough for just taking the time listening to that episode with Garage Gym Experiment, because that was an episode that was very near and dear to my heart, because I kind of got to share my story. Because like you said, you didn't know what it was, and I know a lot of people out there don't know what it is. So if I can kind of get that story out there and raise some awareness and just make a difference here in the garage gym community, because it's big to me. My entire life has had to do with fitness and being in the gym. So now that I can kind of give back to the people who've given me so much over the years, that's just been my mission. And I just, like you said, I love doing what I do. I wake up every single day and love doing it.
Yeah, that's the most important part, because if you didn't, it would be a lot harder. And I think a lot of people are in that boat. So maybe in our case, maybe entrepreneurship is the way out for some people. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's working for a company like ours that is kind of on the forefront and is moving forward, doing new stuff. It's a lot different than what your traditional employer and things do. And especially with like the mission, your mission, a great cause, our mission, obviously just to help people build strength and break plateaus with USA made equipment. And we're succeeding at that right now.
So before we end the episode, just again, I just want you to share all the places that my followers can find you.
Yeah, so best way to reach me or find us is on Instagram at Micro Gainz. That's Gainz with a Z at the end. We're on Facebook as well. You can get us on TikTok at Micro Gainz. You can check me out on email, mike@microgainz.com if you have any questions, or you can just hit me up on Instagram DM. I usually answer those pretty fast as well. If you want to check out any of our products, you can go to microgainz.com, and we have the whole product assortment there. We also sell the same product assortment on amazon.com. I will say, obviously, Amazon charges high fees, so our website is a better spot to come get stuff. In fact, some of our stuff's a little bit less expensive on the website because we pay a smaller fee, so we're able to offer a little bit better of a discount on the website.
Awesome. Well, again, I just really want to thank you for being a guest in the episode, and I want to thank you for being what you are to the garage gym community and the home gym community, because without you, there'd be a lot less humor and a lot less sincerity of people out there as business owners. So just thank you for doing everything that you do. Thank you for being on the podcast, and I hope we get together again soon and do this again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, we're Garage Gym Outfitters, your new go-to for garage gym equipment. We simplify the process of creating and improving your home gym by giving you the ability to compare, review, and purchase home gym equipment from high-quality American brands all in one place. Garage Gym Outfitters is a military-owned company founded by 3 Navy members that want to provide customers with a seamless experience to build out their home gym. We found the process of starting our own home gyms to be a complex maze of comparing different brands' value and quality, so we created Garage Gym Outfitters to solve this problem for you. Check us out today at thegaragegymoutfitters.com to find your new favorite products from American-based brands.
Before we end today's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Anchor Podcasts. They distribute this podcast, you guys, in just about any platform you may try to find us on, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. All the recording, editing, and final touches are also done through Anchor, which makes getting the Primal Armor podcast out to you guys very quick, easy, and mobile. You guys can also submit questions or voice messages that I can add to our next episode. Go download the Anchor.fm app today to check out what it's all about. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.